Let me ask you something. When it comes to taxes, do you actually know how much you're going to owe? Or are you just guessing and hoping it won't be too bad? We're wrapping up tax season here, and over the past few weeks, I've had at least 4 different conversations with other small business owners, and they all shared a very similar win. I just finished filing taxes, and I didn't owe as much as I feared, which on the surface does sound like a win. I mean, that's great. I'm happy for them. I'm glad they crossed that off their list, and they didn't have to pay as much as they thought they would. But what they didn't say was they've been walking around for months with some level of tax anxiety. They didn't know what to expect, and they still ended up owing something. Bracing for the worst and celebrating when the bill doesn't completely wipe you out, that's like thanking the school bully for not punching you as hard as he did last time. You don't have to live like that. Today, I'm going to show you 3 tools that will help you know what to expect, save the right amount of money in advance, and take the edge off tax season for good. Of course, everyone's financial situation is different. There may be perfectly valid reasons why my friends were managing their taxes the way they did. I am not a tax professional or accountant. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Maybe they were following decent advice from someone who knows a lot more about this subject than I do. But whatever the case, it's clear they were living with some level of uncertainty and anxiety. And I know they're not alone. A lot of solopreneurs find themselves in a stressful tax scenario, and I believe it comes down to a lack of planning. Now, I get it. You're busy running your business and living your life, meeting deadlines, getting the kids to soccer practice, focusing on the things immediately in front of you, and taxes? That's a figure it out later kind of thing. The problem is, later turns into April, and now you're crossing your fingers and bracing for impact and hoping you don't get completely wrecked. So let's fix that. Tool number 1, this book right here, Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, will completely change the way you see and manage your business finances. It's an enjoyable read, totally worth your time, but here are the main ideas in a very small nutshell. Most business owners follow this formula. Income minus expenses equals profit. You pay your taxes and your salary out of this bottom bucket as well, but Profit First flips that around. Income minus profit equals expenses. You also set aside money for taxes and make sure you're paying yourself, and then whatever's left over, use that to cover your expenses. Mike walks you through how to use multiple bank accounts to create a cash management system that's going to help you be more thoughtful about your financial priorities and your operating expenses. You're going to reserve money for different categories before the money gets spent. It's kind of like your mom's old cash envelope system, but for your business. The book gets pretty detailed about how many different accounts to open and how to figure out how much to set aside in each. But don't wait to read the book. You can start applying some of the principles right now. Open one separate bank account just for taxes, and then set aside 15 to 30% of every paycheck you receive. You'll dial this in based on what you know about your tax rate and your expenses. And then don't touch it. Pretend it doesn't even exist until it's time to pay your taxes. I covered the Profit First in more detail in a couple other videos. I'll link to those in the description. I also have a video about making quarterly estimated tax payments. That's relevant to this conversation, but this one move, just opening a separate tax account, eliminates so much stress. Because when the bill comes, you know you got it covered. Now, as simple as the Profit First method is, it's not much use if you don't actually use it. Every 2 weeks, you need to remember to transfer your income into different sub-accounts. So you have to log into your bank, see what's in your income account, calculate how much you need to allocate to your other accounts, and then initiate the transfers. It's a bit of a hassle. Or you can set everything on autopilot by banking with Relay, my favorite business banking platform and the sponsor of today's video. When I first read Profit First, I was really excited to put it into action, but soon realized it simply wasn't going to work with my old bank. Mainly because they charged a monthly fee unless I maintained a minimum balance in each of my accounts. And because Profit First has you moving money in and out of different accounts all the time, fees could stack up real fast. But then I found Relay. It lets you create multiple bank accounts, manage them from an easy-to-use and quite nice-looking dashboard. There are no account fees or minimum balance requirements, so it checks that box. And then you can use their auto transfer rules to automatically divvy up your income into different accounts by percentage. It does the math for you, and on a regular schedule that you define. You make money, Relay splits it up automatically into taxes, operating expenses, owner pay, profit, any other accounts you want to create. It works perfectly with the Profit First method. In fact, since I've been using Relay for a few years now, they have become the official banking partner of Profit First. New users who sign up with my link, sidekick.show/relay, and deposit as little as $100 into their account will receive a $100 sign-up bonus. If you want to dive deeper, you can check out my full review of Relay, linked in the description, but that's probably already out of date, honestly, because they keep adding new features. So I'd recommend just taking it for a spin yourself and take advantage of that generous sign-up bonus. Remember to use my link, sidekick.show/relay. That also helps support this channel and makes it possible for me to create more resources like this for business heroes like you. Now, the first two tools we just covered, Profit First and Relay, are great for everyone, especially solopreneurs just starting out and folks who like to DIY their business finances. But if your business is growing and you're interested in optimizing your time and taxes a little bit more, it might be time to call in some professional support. Investing in a bookkeeper, accountant, and/or tax specialist can be incredibly beneficial financially and peace-of-mindedly. I work with a service called Formations Corp, and their team has helped me with getting my S-Corp set up. For some solo businesses making over about $60K a year or so, electing to be an S-Corp can save thousands in self-employment taxes. You just need to make sure you set it up properly and are doing everything to stay compliant with all the nitty-gritty regulations. I don't know how to do that, but the experts at Formations do. They also help with bookkeeping and payroll management. I briefly mentioned quarterly estimated tax payments earlier in the video. I don't need to worry about them anymore because as an S-Corp, I can put myself on payroll, and Formations set everything up so every month I get a paycheck and the government gets their cut. Even with variable income, they keep tabs on my tax liability and make sure I'm on track with everything. Keeping your books up to date throughout the year makes tax season much less stressful. Not that it's stressful at all for me, because Formations also takes care of preparing my annual business tax return, and they help ensure that I'm taking advantage of every deduction I'm entitled to, every legal deduction. No sketchy TikTok tax hacks here. Now, professional service like Formations isn't going to be free, but in many cases, in my case, the tax savings alone more than cover the cost of the service. But even more valuable than the tax savings is the time savings. I used to do all of this by myself, and I was constantly on edge that I was going to goof something up. For the longest time, I was too cheap to pay for help. And if you're just starting out and cash is tight, I get it. And I personally think it's good to do it yourself for a bit and take time to learn how some of these things work, but only for a little bit. I really wish I hadn't waited as long as I did to hire out this part of my business, because it was really taking a lot of time and holding me back from focusing on other things that would help me grow my business. So I wouldn't have to be cheap. Having a back office team also makes me feel more professional. Before, I just have a little side gig. But taking these steps, I'm treating my business like a business. And I sleep better at night knowing it's not all on me anymore. There are a lot of great bookkeepers and tax pros out there. Ask around, get referrals, and find someone you trust. It's an investment, but one that usually pays for itself in savings and sanity. So to recap real quick, I introduced a book, a bank, and a back office team to help you win tax season and grow your business. Now, take action. Read Profit First and open a tax account. Start saving 15 to 30% of your income. Right now, do it. And open that account with Relay or another banking platform. Just make sure it allows you to manage multiple accounts with no minimum balance requirements and makes it easy to schedule transfers. And if your business is gaining momentum, don't wait to get help managing your finances. You can book a free call with someone from the formations team to see if an S-Corp might be right for you, or reach out to a local bookkeeping service provider or accountant. DIY is fine for a little bit, like I said, but you really shouldn't navigate this all on your own. Taxes aren't optional, unfortunately, but tax stress and surprise tax bills are totally avoidable. Using these tools, you can go from guessing what you owe to knowing you're covered and gain a lot more clarity and confidence in general. If this was helpful to you, it might be helpful to other people as well. So please hit the like button, share, subscribe, make a blood sacrifice to the algorithm guys, and drop a comment. Let me know what's your biggest pain point when it comes to taxes. Love to hear what you're working through, and maybe I can point you toward a good next step. Speaking of next steps, I only gave you a small sample of the Profit First method. You'll definitely want to watch this video right here to learn how to build out a whole cash flow management system for your business. And I do a little card trick or two. I'll see you over there.